Hi, this is Kerry with the August 2026 Vedic Astrology forecast. This forecast is available in written format on my website, planetaryinfluence.com. You can find the audio version on any of the podcast streams, and you can find the video version now on YouTube. Let's get started with a summary from each of the 9 planets. The Sun. The Sun begins August in Cancer, moving through the final degrees of the sign before crossing the tricky Gandanta point into Leo on August 16th. After being eclipsed in Cancer, the Sun enters his own sign, bringing attention back to self-expression, creativity, and purpose. Moving past Ketu on August 22nd, 23rd, we may confront barriers to authentic expression, but breakthrough comes through self-advocacy and forgiveness. The Moon. The Moon meets the Sun and Ketu for a total solar eclipse at 26 degrees Cancer, Ashlesha Nakshatra, on August 12th, drawing us into the deep waters of emotional habits, protection, and transformation. The August 27th, 28th full moon in Aquarius Shatabishak brings a partial lunar eclipse with Rahu, amplifying the collective call for healing and compassion. Eclipses reveal what has been hidden and invite us to change perspective without having to move. Mars. Mars moves from Taurus into Gemini on August 2nd, pressing the accelerator and bringing faster movement after a period of fixed sign stagnation. This is a good month to streamline processes, improve communication, and learn new skills. Mars reminds us to think beyond the small beginnings of current projects toward the larger scope and reach that they may eventually require. Mercury. Mercury resumes direct motion in Gemini in late July, then moves into Cancer on August 7th, where quick thinking encounters deeper emotional and personal territory. Entering Leo on August 22nd, Mercury moves quickly toward combustion with the Sun while passing Ketu and participating in the lunar eclipse. Keep the notebook nearby. Important observations may emerge from the shadows. Jupiter. Jupiter remains in Cancer throughout August, offering wisdom and perspective as Mercury moves through the sign and encounters him in planetary war on August 15th. The Jupiter-Mercury interaction may highlight student-teacher relationships, learning, and significant exchanges. Jupiter's presence in Cancer reminds us that growth sometimes comes through deeper emotional understanding rather than immediate answers. Venus. Venus enters Virgo on July 31st, beginning a month of debilitation that asks us to release perfectionism and simply get things done. As Mars aspects Venus from Gemini and Saturn aspects Venus from Pisces, creative and relational efforts receive pressure to become more practical. The result may not match the original vision, but we can still make art from rocks, clay, and a few simple tools. Saturn. Retrograde Saturn in Pisces continues to apply pressure to Venus and Virgo, reminding us that progress often requires working with limitations rather than waiting for ideal conditions. His influence supports the August theme of practical momentum. Use what is available, simplify the process, and keep moving even when the creative results look different than expected. Rahu. Rahu continues retrograde through Aquarius and Dhanishta Nakshatra, The focus has shifted from a vague or desperate desire for something undefined toward making concrete plans that connect us with what we actually want. The August lunar eclipse brings this process into sharper collective focus. Ketu. Ketu in Leo takes center stage during the August 12th solar eclipse, then meets the Sun and Mercury later in the month for the lunar eclipse. Moving through Magha, Ketu brings us face to face with old patterns around identity, self-expression, and generational inheritance. What needs to be ejected? This is the month to confront what has outlived its usefulness and make room for liberation. For a deeper look at these planetary placements, please continue to watch and listen to the full planetary forecast. Venus transits Virgo, July 31st through September 1st. As the Sun makes his steady way through the zodiac, the planets that travel around the Sun on the inside tracks from Earth, Mercury and Venus, will always be observed in the signs close to or in the sign occupied by the Sun. In January 2026, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Mars all occupied Capricorn, and faster-moving Venus moved ahead of the Sun in the zodiac. In February, Venus advanced in front of retrograde Mercury and has been leading Mercury and the Sun through the zodiac since then. This pioneering version of Venus brings to mind moving all the things relationship forward through unknown territory. Venus significations range from business to politics, to family dynamics, relationships, food, social life, comfort, art, all the good things that we want and need and deserve in life, but that come with a cost. This trend continues through October 2026, when things get complicated in the sign of Libra, with the inner planets once again grouping up for a dynamic encounter. After moving past Ketu and out of Leo, Venus's momentum continues, with August comprising the Virgo chapter. Venus gains debilitation status in Virgo, a flexible sign that also exalts Mercury, Virgo's ruler. In light of the eternal friendship between Venus and Mercury, the debilitation of Venus in Virgo seems like a slap on the wrist, causing a bit of harder work and leaving behind perfectionism in favor of moving the cart forward. Get it done could be a good mantra for August, with not only Venus leaning into the debilitation status, but also with the pushy aspects coming at her from retrograde Saturn in Pisces and the continued fire from Mars's aspect as he settles into Gemini on August 2nd. This combination actually looks like a good recipe for momentum, with the understanding that while the creative process may not yield what was envisioned, we can still make art out of rocks, simple clay, and a few tools. Mars transits Gemini from August 2nd through September 18th. Mars presses the accelerator pedal and moves out of Taurus and into Gemini on August 2nd. July, with Mars and Venus occupying fixed signs, could have revealed the difference between supportive rest and wallowing in a rut, as well as what strategies could break through what is stuck. August could feel like things are rolling faster, with Mars entering the light and fast environment of Gemini, while aspecting Venus as she skips through Virgo. Both of the vital and powerful human planets, Mars and Venus, moving through Mercury's environments, could have us learning as we go on a vibrant creative trajectory. Mars in Gemini concentrates on efficiency. So August is a good time to streamline processes and design new communication and educational campaigns. This energy, depending on how it is channeled, could come across as logical, clear communication or aggressive, divisive language. Knowing that, check the energy behind your delivery to make sure the product gives the vibe you want to share. From Gemini, Mars also pushes his fire and strategic perspective into the signs of Virgo, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. The Mercury-ruled signs affected, Gemini and Virgo, will benefit from the focus of Mars into learning new skills, practicing them, and integrating them into a process. Mars aspecting Sagittarius and Capricorn brings our focus to the higher branches or the later junctures of the projects we are getting off the ground now. While you are learning and integrating those new skills, keep in mind what the larger scope or reach is for your current work. Be practical as you start small, but make sure the tools and skills you are honing now will scale when your seeds begin to grow. Mercury transits Cancer from August 7th through the 22nd. After resuming direct motion on July 22nd, Mercury skates through the final degrees of his own sign of Gemini for a couple weeks, helping us to reorganize, analyze data that recently appeared, and finding the way toward our next level of purchasing power. Mercury is a versatile planet that gets around, helping us to learn our way around problems that intervene in our smooth plans. In Gemini, Mercury's quick, diverse energy propagates quickly and reaches far, especially due to Rahu's continued aspect into Gemini through November of 2026. In order to reach exaltation in Virgo, which comes relatively quickly, starting September 6th, adventurous Mercury must traverse the signs of Cancer and Leo, experiencing encounters with Jupiter, the Sun, Ketu, and a couple of eclipses during August. Mercury maintains his pace through all of this during August, but things may feel a bit disjointed as Mercury's well-intentioned fast track toward the goal finds itself being pushed into deeper situations involving emotions, wisdom, and personal transformation that cost more time and energy than expected. Prepare for this by cushioning schedules with free time that can be directed at being there for a friend, coming to the rescue of a stranger, or shopping longer for the right fit. New moon total solar eclipse in Cancer, Ashlesha, August 12th. The nodal axis, what we call Rahu and Ketu in Jyotish, will make itself shown in August with the final eclipse pairing of this current station of the axis, which has Rahu in Aquarius and Ketu in Leo since late May 2025. Rahu will be the main agent for the lunar eclipse later in the month, which could center more on mental and emotional revelations about unmet needs. Rahu's retrograde motion through Aquarius has finally moved through Shatabishak and will finish up the transit in Dhanishta. This shifts the focus from wanting desperately to do or get something, even if you're not sure what it is, to actually making plans that connect you to those desires. So make sure you do know what it is. Ketu is the main agent for the first eclipse of the pair, which comes at the new moon on August 12th, as the sun and moon meet at 26 degrees Cancer, in the nakshatra called Ashlesha. This is considered a total solar eclipse, even though the luminaries and Ketu will be in different signs. They are within 10 degrees apart, making the solar eclipse total. The path of the eclipse will be visible mostly in the northern regions of the globe. Eclipses generally feel dramatic, as we witness a recession of the light and the overtaking of darkness, even though temporarily. As this play of light and dark displays at 2 points in August of 2026, realize that hidden things could be revealed as obvious things recede into the background, giving you a chance to change perspective without having to move. The information gained may not be welcome, but it could be useful for navigating the path ahead. Our focus is brought into the region of the zodiac where Cancer ends and Leo begins, the first Gandanta point of the zodiac, those challenging spots where water meets fire. Each of these 3 Gandanta zones is like a joint in the bones of the zodiac, where we may face a difficult trial that is necessary for us to level up, transform, or move on. Identify this juncture in your own horoscope. What house is Cancer? What house is Leo? In order for you to make it through your current obstacles, challenges, and blockages, what emotional, physical, or spiritual baggage needs to be ejected? The nodes themselves have serpent symbology and energy. And the nakshatra where the sun and moon meet on August 12th, Ashlesha, is also symbolized by Sarpa, the lord of the serpents. Serpent energy is powerful, transformational, and intimidating due to the risk of poisonous strikes that serpents use to protect themselves. Eclipses in general sit in this category, and this eclipse in particular very much draws us deeply into confronting how our own habits, methods, and messages can either propel us forward or turn back to bite us. Enter this eclipse zone not with fear, but with curiosity and the intention to deepen wisdom, find answers, and open to true understanding. The sun transits Leo, August 16th through September 16th. After being totally eclipsed, the sun moves through that Gandanta zone from Cancer to Leo on August 16th, stepping steadily through the zodiac. Mid-August to mid-September sees the sun holding court in Leo, his own sign, currently complicated by the transit of the nodes through Leo and Aquarius. Despite the eclipse factor, the sun still shines brightly in Leo, reminding us to check in with ourselves, our creative issue, and our purpose during this time. July saw Venus moving past the Ketu zone, which could have felt like confronting barriers to connection. August will see the sun moving past Ketu, bringing us face to face with the barriers to self-expression. With Mars and Venus occupying Mercury's signs, we could experience a sense of business as usual or life goes on, while simultaneously we are facing demons in the most intense inner spiritual battle of our lifetimes. Use the first week of August, while Mercury is strongly tracking data in Gemini, to sketch out a plan or framework that reminds you of the big picture plan and the little details that keep you afloat. Using this, you can navigate the darker, deeper moments while still getting dinner on the table. Expect a bit of friction or stickiness on August 22nd to the 23rd as the sun moves through the degrees occupied by Ketu in Magha Nakshatra. You have the opportunity for some breakthrough or liberation at this time. but it only comes with some level of self-advocacy or forgiveness. Mercury transits Leo August 22nd through September 6th. After the Sun's departure from Cancer, Mercury and Jupiter remain in the Moon's watery sign. On August 15th, quick-moving Mercury plays at a planetary war with Jupiter at 16 degrees Cancer, which could feel like a blip or a connection when it comes to student-teacher relations or an interaction that is significant for relationships between the Mercury and Jupiter-ruled folks. A week later, Mercury bobs out of Cancer and bounces into Leo, gaining quickly on the Sun and feeling the intense glow of combustion. Mercury moves through Leo from August 22nd to September 6th, keeping things moving forward despite setbacks and roadblocks. Mercury moves past K2 on August 24th and 25th, and then past the Sun on August 27th, heading for home, Virgo, on September 6th. While busy and moving, Mercury will still have the time to participate closely in the eclipse moment on August 28th, urging us to keep that notebook and pen nearby to log any important observations we may notice when the shadow comes for the Moon on August 28th. With the drama of eclipses taking the front seat for August, the everyday planets Mercury, Venus, and Mars are in a good position to keep things moving in the midst of mysterious clues emerging from the shadows. Full moon partial lunar eclipse in Aquarius, Shatabishak, August 27th and 28th. Bookending the eclipse pair of August, the full moon at 11 degrees Aquarius will be partially eclipsed by Rahu on August 27th and 28th, depending on your location on Earth. For lunar eclipse, the mechanics are that the Earth lines up between the Sun and the Moon, temporarily blocking the Sun's light from reaching the face of the full moon. This is the time to ask yourself how you may be blocking something that really needs to be revealed, felt, or processed. Opposite the moon, the Sun at 11 degrees Leo joins Ketu in Magha Nakshatra. At the moment of the eclipse, Mercury is only 1 degree away from the Sun. This trio in Leo that counterbalances the eclipsed full moon is set up to find the roots of the problems, to see into solutions, and to strike the precise links to break the chains of generational patterns that don't fit into the current world scene. On the other side, an eclipsed full moon in Shatabishak Nakshatra tells of the voice of the masses, of humanity, calling out for collective healing and sharing of compassion throughout all peoples. No promises for answers, but the questions could become louder as people begin to see light through the cracks. September 2026 headlines. Venus transits Libra, September 1 through November 4. Mercury transits Virgo, September 6th through the 25th. There will be a new moon at 25 degrees Leo in Purva Falguni Nakshatra on September 10th. The Sun will transit Virgo, September 16th through October 17th. Mars will transit Cancer, September 18th through November 12th, and Mercury will transit Libra starting September 25th through December 1st. Thank you so much for tuning in to this monthly forecast. I will be back to share the news about September toward the end of August. Take care, be safe.